Happiness comes from within yourself, not from outside of yourself. When you are a person who is constantly searching for happiness from external factors, from things outside of yourself, you're saying things like, if I have this relationship, then I'll be happy. Once I get this house, then I'll be happy. This car, then I'll be happy. This job. Once I go on this or that vacation, then I'll be happy. Well, if you're searching for happiness constantly, you're never going to find it because happiness doesn't come from outside of yourself. Happiness comes from within yourself. Happiness and fulfillment and contentment and being aligned with who you really are, this comes from doing inner work. It doesn't come from chasing validation and things outside of yourself. Because if you were chasing happiness, don't you think you would have found it by now? Well, it's because you're never going to find it if you're constantly chasing it. It comes from within, guys. Happiness and fulfillment and contentment and just being okay with who you are, these things come from doing inner work. You have to be a person who looks in the mirror and says, am I the person that I want to be right now? And if the answer is no, well, then you found your answer. You've got some more work to do. And, we all do. We all do. Life is a journey, right? No one's happy all the time. No one's got the most perfect self-esteem or the most perfect happiness, or they're just fulfilled completely 100% and this kind of thing. It's a journey, and it's something that we have to work on continuously. But again, I think that if you're someone who's chasing things outside of yourself to try to fill you up, to try to make yourself happy, because you have some sort of inner void within yourself, you have like this inner emptiness within yourself, then you have to look within. You don't need to go out. You're not going to find that outside of yourself. You're going to find that within yourself. Look inward and do the work necessary to where you can be aligned spiritually and fulfilled, and you're living authentically to who you really are. Because once you do that, and it's a continuous thing that you're working on, right? But once you do these things, you're going to find that no matter what your external circumstances are, you'll just be solid. It doesn't matter if you don't have the perfect relationship right now. It doesn't matter if your housing situation is not perfect. It doesn't matter if you don't have this or that car, if you don't have, the best friends in the world, or whatever the case may be. You're going to find that if you can find some inner fulfillment within yourself, the external factors, the external situations that you find yourself in are not really going to faze you all that much, because you know who you are, right? And you've got a connection with Source, right? You've got a connection with God. You're close with God, things like this. You have faith that things will be okay. And typically they will be, So being happy, being content, being fulfilled, these sort of things do not come from any kind of external factors. These things come from being okay with who you are, right? And again, this is something that requires continuous work. And a lot of people today in this modern world, they just don't want to do that type of work. They think that, if they're constantly chasing the things that society tells them to chase, well, that's what's going to make them happy. But a lot of these people find that when they're doing these type of things, they still feel empty inside. They still feel like they're missing something. And what they're missing is themselves. That's what they're missing. These types of people who are constantly chasing things outside of themselves, trying to act cool and do the thing that society's telling them to do, and chase the money and chase the women and chase the relationships and chase the status and all this external stuff. These people often find that they're never fulfilled, because they're always chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing, and they're never just okay with being. They have to perform for validation and attention from other people, and then once they get that validation and attention from others by chasing all this external stuff and keeping up with the Joneses and this type of thing, then they'll feel good. But they always find that they're never good. They're never good because they're constantly chasing. It's a never-ending thing with this type of stuff. Inner fulfillment comes from doing the inner work, guys. It comes from doing the inner work. And again, we all go through feelings of isolation and depression and loneliness and all this sort of stuff. We all have seasons where we're not feeling great, you know? But I think if you do the work on yourself, if you're constantly doing the work, the inner work, then you'll find that you can have happiness within yourself. You can have fulfillment. You can feel good within yourself. These sort of things are possible. You know, you can find peace within yourself and these sort of things, but it comes from going within, not going out. So, yeah, guys, happiness is not found from things outside of yourself. Happiness is found from within. And I think that's one of the truest things about the human experience. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop a like and drop a subscribe for more. My name is John. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.